So still with us with Monic, we're still talking about finding our passion and how to do the Tes Bakat to find our true passion and to follow it. So aside from creating Tes Bakat Indonesia, I heard that you're also an author of Salah Jurusan. So what motivated you to write that book?
Okay, at that time, because people always ask me to give seminars from schools to schools, event to event. Actually, all the things that I share is about the same things. All the question that I've been asked is also the same kind of question. Then I thought, like, why don't I just write a book so people can just read it themselves and more dispersed throughout the whole nations, right? That's the basic idea.
What was the most common questions asked to you?
The most common questions from a parents is, from a parent's perspective, which one should I choose?
For my kids?
Yeah, should I choose the one that have, like a good prospect of career, or should I support his patients? That's first. And then, what can I do as a parent if we have disagreement in choosing the majors? Right, yeah.
Right, so that's really interesting. So can students as well identify their true passion and where they're good at?
Actually, there are a lot of ways you can identify what you're good at. First, from your report cards, right? But even though it's not 100% portraying, for example, some of the parents were very surprised with the result. My kids have a good potential in mathematicals, in math, but the math is always get only 6 in the report card. When we dig out during the counseling, because I just simply doesn't like the teachers, So even though a report card can be one of your guidance, your indicators, but it's not always right.
Okay.
So you can think, what are the students can think, what are the things that you have minimum effort, but you always feel that you're good at and people appreciating you for that, that can be your passion.
So something that is
potential.
effortless, but still you're nailing it, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it cannot be a burden to you when you are doing it for your whole life. So in your opinion, Monic, what are some factors that students should actually consider when choosing a major in university? Because as mentioned, there are some majors that were being regretted that was taken by some students, like maybe Rory. I didn't regret, although I have never been in the business that is very much aligned to what I took. But yeah, what students should consider when they're choosing a major?
I always have this formula. It's called a 3 Ps.
3 Ps, okay.
Yeah, potential, personality, and passion. Potential is something that
and payments.
Oh yeah, 4 Ps now, payments. That's true. Potential is something that you do good at. Passion, we already talked about something that you really love, but you also need the personality. For example, you're good in languages, communication, and you love it. Can you become a presenter if your personality is like very shy?
Introvert or shy.
Yeah, you're gonna be having a lot of difficulties, right? So you have to consider these three P's of your life.
But how can we differentiate between, at a later life, to me it's pretty challenging to distinguish whether it's a passion or it's a potential. For example, I really like about health issue, right? Health topic. And I'm thinking of taking a nutrition course, for example, or even a master's in nutrition science. But then, that's my passion. But my potential is in communication, in broadcasting. So how do we distinguish and differentiate between these two
very
poles?
Thin lining.
Which one is passion, which one is potential?
You know what? You can always make a bridge out of it. You love about nutrition, health, you're very good in speaking. You can make many things. YouTube channels about health, and you can make a blogs, you can make a content creator in there, or you can work in, like, for example, in a health ministry, becoming their PR.
So it's not going to be wasted, you're saying it's not going to be wasted for Rory to start taking the master's degree, for example, in nutrition, because later on it will be useful anyway for him.
Yes, so you can combine. For example, I built a company in psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but I love being a psychologist. So I use what my passion is as my industry.
Right.
I love broadcasting, right? But I my passion in broadcasting, I make it into like making seminars. Because making seminar, you're like making a
Presentation.
presentation, like making a movie script, right?
Right.
So-
Storyboard.
Like a storyboard.
Yep.
When I write a books, I write seminars, I created it.
Right.
So you just need to find the bridge that your passion and what you really do good at can
Yeah.
collide.
So
Okay.
that's the word actually, bridge and combine.
Bridge and combine.
And after combining, then you have to consider about the payment, as you said,
Yeah,
right?
the 4
Payment.
Ps, right? But is there any changes in patterns? Let's say the world is changing right now compared to our olden days. Do you think finding our passion and talents are still in the same norm, or is it changing slightly because, you know, we have found like job titles that were never existed before, let's say?
Yes, now the patience of the kids is also changing. Now, every year, I handle around 13,000 students across Indonesia.
Wow.
Right, 13,000 students. So we have all the data about what kind of patients that most of them likes, whether it is in the government school, is it in the national school, is it in the international school. I see over 10 years, we've been a decade, right, in this industry. The patient is also shifting. Now a lot of them love psychology, art, music, So yes, it's shifting now.
Right.
Right.
So, okay, this is getting interesting, right? This is getting more interesting, and we're going to continue our talk. But before that, let's highlight an interesting finding about college majors that alumni would often regret. This is
Oh.
what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So let's see where journalism is.
According to a recent report from Zip Recruiter, journalism is the most regretted
There you
major,
go.
with a staggering 87% of graduates expressing dissatisfaction. The rate stems from the fact that anyone can become a journalist today, regardless of their educational background, as long as they can search, gather, and write news. Alumni feel their career prospects are more challenging due to heightened competition from those with various degrees. Additionally, many journalists report earning lower salaries compared to the challenges they face in the field.
I would
Agree with
fully
that?
agree with this thesis, saying that you don't have to study journalism to be a journalist, because this is what I always said to friends or students who they said want to be like me as a journalist. Journalism needs someone who studies health, studies economics, studies science, or studies business. Then you can bring that into the table, right? So you can enrich the perspective of journalism as well.
Wow. But anyhow, journalism is not the only major where students are questioning their choices. Let's take a look at another one that raises similar concerns.
Despite promising societal insights, sociology is frequently cited as a regretted academic choice. Students often encounter a significant gap between their expectations and the actual challenges of the field.
Limited career prospects and complex theoretical frameworks are common concerns for a sociology major. Many of its graduates find themselves needing further education or struggling with their rigorous academic demands.
Furthermore, sociology graduates often face lower starting salaries and societal biases. Nonetheless, for those genuinely interested in social issues, sociology can be a rewarding field.
Yeah, like for example, today a lot of people are taking computer science because it gets paid higher, even if you are still, a fresh grad.
True. But if you are interested to be a researcher, for example, or professor in a university, then sociology could be an option, because it's now needed, right, to portray or to depict today's phenomenon when it comes to politics, economics, and human behavior as well.
Agree. Now, 64% of alumni regretted taking communications as their major in university.
I don't regret it, but I was clueless at the first 4 semesters, but then I enjoyed along the way. So communication majors have promising job prospects, but competition comes from individuals with diverse backgrounds beyond communication studies. According to communication major alumni, communication skills can be learned independently through courses such as public speaking, copywriting, video editing, content writing, and more. Even if you want to be a writer, for example, writing journalist, then you can learn from a course.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about camera taking or presenting, you can take it in a course.
That's true. Okay. So there are some very thin lining, as you spoke as well, between potential and passion. Now, we want to dig more about majors. What common mistakes students usually make when they select a certain major? Because I realized you were talking about just a temporary passion or a core passion or maybe temporary, I don't know, potentials if there are any, and they don't want to make the wrong mistake. So what are the common mistakes that students usually make when they're choosing a major?
Normally, first of all, they don't really know themselves.
Know yourself well, that's number
Yes.
one.
Or they have the wrong portrait of a majors. For example, the one that I said before, I want to become a fashion designer because I want to do catwalk. So she doesn't really have the clear background of that majors.
That's model in school.
Yeah. Second of all, now also happens nowadays, they choose majors because it's promising.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if I took IT? I never be able, even when I was high school, my math score never passed 6 in my report card. Can you imagine if I go with the trend, IT? Right? I wouldn't survive. Third, they follow their friends, their boyfriends, the societies. And last thing is they choose a majors wrongly because they will aim for certain university. So for example, we know if in Indonesia there are certain university is like, like
The favorites.
the favorites one. Even there was one time the students came to us, he took Japanese language.
Javanese,
In
for the
this-
sake to enter that university.
Yeah. And then I said, why you take that? Yeah, because this is the one that opening in that university.
Yeah.
So sometimes people only choose the university, doesn't care about the major.
To be the graduate of that specific university,
Yeah.
because it's sellable somehow.
Yes.
All right, that's been a very interesting discussion with you, Monic, and thank you so much for sharing your insights. And also, I think parents, if you don't want to make any mistake, start to test your kid from an early stage, because
That's right.
potentials are there, might not be coincides with the passion, but then it might be bridged as well later on in life.
Tes Bakat Indonesia it is. So from 1 year old until later in life, you can take,
Yeah.
Even adults can take
and
that.
even
Yes.
adults can take, yeah?
Yes. Even some people took their retirement plan.
Oh, seriously?
What about before getting married? Is that the passion really? I don't know if there isn't a test for
That's
that.
a different thing, I
That's a
think.
different thing.
But if you want to change career or you want to know your passion and your true talent is, I think this is a good
Tes Bakat
test for you
Indonesia.
to take. All right.
Thank you,
once again.
Monic, for coming
Thank
here.
you. My pleasure.
All right, and See the Stories will still continue after the break, so stay with us.